Fashion is often perceived as a creative expression of personal style, yet it is deeply intertwined with the broader tapestry of human history. Far from existing in a vacuum, fashion responds to and reflects historical events, cultural shifts, economic upheavals, and technological innovations. From war and revolution to economic booms and pandemics, pivotal moments in history have directly shaped what people wear, how clothing is made, and the value society assigns to style. The story of fashion is, in essence, a visual timeline of our collective past. The early 20th century, for example, saw one of the most significant disruptions in fashion caused by World War I. Prior to the war, women's fashion was characterized by ornate corsets, heavy fabrics, and decorative excess. But the war forced a shift toward practicality and simplicity. As men went off to fight and women took on industrial jobs, fashion adapted to reflect the new reality. Hemlines rose, corsets loosened, and utilitarian garments became the norm. This marked the beginning of a more liberated form of dress for women, symbolizing their increasing role in public life. World War II had a similar yet more far-reaching effect. With fabric rationing and a global economic crisis, fashion had to adapt. Designers began creating pieces that used less material, such as knee-length skirts and narrower silhouettes. Utility clothing was introduced, characterized by its lack of embellishment and efficient construction. Yet even within these constraints, creativity thrived. The famous Make, Do, and Mend campaign encouraged people to repair and repurpose their clothing. Fashion became a patriotic act, with style reflecting resilience, thrift, and solidarity. The post-war boom of the 1950s marked a return to extravagance. As economies recovered, fashion embraced femininity and opulence once more. Christian Dior's New Look, with its full skirts and cinched waists, celebrated abundance and optimism. In contrast, the Cold War period saw the rise of contrasting styles between capitalist and communist countries, with Western fashion leaning into individuality and consumerism, while Eastern Bloc fashion remained conservative and uniform-driven. The 1960s and 1970s were shaped by social revolution, civil rights movements, and anti-establishment sentiments. These eras introduced radical fashion changes that reflected youthful rebellion, sexual liberation, and cultural transformation. The miniskirt became a symbol of female empowerment, while tie-dye, fringe, and bell-bottoms expressed a free-spirited rejection of mainstream norms. Music and politics collided, influencing everything from hairstyles to fabric choices. Fashion became a tool for protest and identity, a language for movements that demanded change. Economic recessions in the 1980s and early 1990s influenced minimalist trends. As the exuberance of the 1980s gave way to financial anxiety, power suits became popular, especially for women entering corporate spaces in larger numbers. Shoulder pads, sharp blazers, and neutral colors reflected ambition and seriousness. Fashion now functioned as a means of professional empowerment and class signaling. At the same time, global television and media helped export Western fashion to other parts of the world, while incorporating international influences back into mainstream style. The rise of hip-hop culture in the 1980s and 1990s, for instance, brought oversized silhouettes, bold logos, and sneaker culture into the fashion mainstream. Shaped by the lived experiences of marginalized communities, and later commercialized by global brands. One of the most recent global events to shape fashion was the COVID-19 pandemic. The lockdowns and lifestyle shifts that began in 2020 dramatically altered fashion trends overnight. Loungewear, pajamas, and athleisure saw a surge in popularity as people adapted to remote work and indoor living. Face masks became not just health necessities, but fashion accessories, customized with patterns, logos, and luxury branding. The pandemic accelerated the digital transformation of fashion with virtual fashion shows, online shopping booms, and even the rise of digital clothing for avatars and social media presence. Environmental crises have also had a significant influence. Growing awareness of climate change has pushed fashion toward sustainability. Terms like slow fashion, upcycling, and eco-friendly materials have entered mainstream discourse. Brands now face consumer pressure to be transparent about sourcing and labor practices. Historical events like climate summits, environmental disasters, and social justice protests have made it clear that ethical fashion is not just a trend, but a response to the times. Technology has also played a major role throughout history. The Industrial Revolution introduced mechanized textile production, making fashion more accessible to the masses. The invention of synthetic fibers during wartime periods changed fabric technology forever. Today, 3D printing, AI design tools, and augmented reality fitting rooms are reshaping fashion at a pace never before seen. Fashion is also affected by political change. In times of authoritarian rule, clothing often becomes restrictive, symbolic of state control. Conversely, in times of freedom and democracy, fashion tends to reflect experimentation, diversity, and innovation. The fall of the Berlin Wall, the Arab Spring, and other monumental political shifts have each seen corresponding waves of self-expression through fashion, often as an assertion of cultural identity and resistance. Even royal events and celebrity moments have historical consequences for fashion. Princess Diana's style choices in the 1980s and 1990s not only influenced millions of women, but also signified the humanization of monarchy during a time of global media expansion. More recently, figures like Meghan Markle and Kate Middleton have revived interest in specific designers, textiles, and causes with a single outfit choice. In essence, fashion acts as a visual archive of history. Each stitch, cut, and accessory holds meaning beyond mere aesthetics. It reflects collective emotions: grief, celebration, rebellion, or hope. When historians look back at garments worn during specific eras, they are decoding stories about power, gender, technology, and society itself. Fashion does not merely follow history, it helps make it. From war trenches to red carpets, from protests to pandemic Zoom calls, what we wear tells the story of who we are and where we have been. As history continues to unfold, so too will fashion continue to reflect, react, and revolutionize in its wake.